Manchester United could have the perfect left-back option lying in wait as Ruben Amorim's era officially begins. Amorim has now taken on his role as United's new head coach following the departure of Erik ten Hag last month. The 39-year-old left Sporting Lisbon to become United's new boss after previously spending 4 years at the Portuguese club. Work will already be underway on the potential transfer business that United may look to conduct in January, as well as next summer ahead of Amorim's first full season in charge. One position in the squad that is likely to be looked at for reinforcements is left-back. Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia are the recognised left-back options in the United squad. However, neither of the duo have played this season due to injuries, with Malacia not making a first-team appearance for the club since May 2023. Malacia made his long-awaited return from a knee injury for the under-21s earlier this week. Shaw, though, remains on the sidelines with a calf injury, and it remains to be seen when the England international is available once again. United have used several players at left-back this season to accommodate for the absences of Malacia and Shaw. Diogo Dalot, Noussair Mazraoui have been used in the role, as has centre-back Lisandro Martinez when required. One player who could be on United's agenda for either January or next summer is a familiar face for Amorim. Paris Saint-Germain defender Nuno Mendes has entered the final 18 months of his contract with the Ligue 1 club, and there is no word yet on an extension being on the cards. Mendes worked with Amorim during his time at Sporting before completing a £34 million move to PSG in the summer of 2022, having spent the previous campaign on loan. And his contract with the French Giants is set to expire at the end of the 2025-26 season. United already have experience in negotiating with PSG, having signed Manuel Ugarte from the Ligue 1 club last summer. Mendes was handed his senior debut for Sporting by Amorim when he was just 17 years old, so it will be up to United to try and capitalise on the bond between the player and their new manager if they want to sign the left-back in the months ahead. Mendes has made 10 appearances for PSG this season, with 1 goal and 2 assists to his name at left-back. It remains to be seen if the 22-year-old and the French club will reach an agreement over a new contract. If not, then it is only likely to lead to intense speculation around his future in Paris. Ruben Amorim has finally met members of his new squad at Manchester United, just under 2 weeks since he was appointed. While he was announced as Erik ten Hag's replacement on the 1st of November, he remained with Sporting Lisbon for 3 more games. The 39-year-old arrived in Manchester for the first time on Monday, along with members of his coaching staff. The group boarded a flight from Beja Airport in Portugal to Manchester in the morning, just hours after orchestrating a come-from-behind 4-2 win over Braga in their final match in charge of Sporting. They immediately travelled to United's Carrington training ground, where they were met by Chief Executive Omar Barada, Sporting Director Dan Ashworth and Technical Director Jason Wilcox. While many of his players are away on international duty, Amorim did have the chance to meet some of his new squad. Pictures released by United show the new boss with his hand behind Luke Shaw's head in the Carrington gym. Also in that area, Amorim met Mason Mount, placing his arm around the midfielder's waist as he smiled at the Englishman before giving him a hug. The United chief also gathered in a group with Lenny Yoro, with Amorim shown laughing with the defender. He also had the chance to get to know Kobbie Mainoo, with pictures showing him speaking to then hugging the England international. The final player pictured meeting the new boss was Toby Collier. Collier was shown speaking to Amorim while the coach put his arm around the academy star's back. The quintet are currently sidelined with injury, hence their presence at the training. Amorim will likely meet the rest of his players next week ahead of his first game in charge. That will come on the 25th of November, away at struggling Ipswich Town, who are managed by former United coach Kieran McKenna. The new boss's first major decision also came on Monday with the confirmation that interim boss Ruud van Nistelrooy had been let go, along with the rest of Ten Hag's staff. Van Nistelrooy had been eyeing a role under Amorim, but the Portuguese boss has opted to cut ties. Manchester United can confirm that Ruud van Nistelrooy has left the club. Ruud rejoined in the summer and has taken charge of the team for the past 4 matches as interim head coach, United said in a statement. Ruud is and always will be a Manchester United legend. We are grateful for his contribution and the way in which he has approached his role throughout his time with the club. He will always be very welcome at Old Trafford. René Hack, Jelten Ruelar and Peter Morel have also departed, and we wish them all well for the future. We will confirm the full men's first team coaching composition in due course. United have spent a hefty sum on Amorim due to the release clause in his contract with Sporting. He has signed a 3-year contract with the Red Devils, with the club option of an additional year. When announcing his appointment, the club said Ruben is one of the most exciting and highly rated young coaches in European football. Highly decorated as both a player and coach, his titles include winning the Primeira Liga twice in Portugal with Sporting CP, the first of which was the club's first title in 19 years. Manchester United winger Alejandro Garnacho has bid an emotional farewell to Ruud van Nistelrooy after the legendary striker departed the club on Monday. Van Nistelrooy arrived at United in the summer after he was recommended to Ineos by Erik ten Hag. It was presumed that the Dutchman was being groomed as the successor to ten Hag at Old Trafford should the head coach be sacked. However, the assistant was thought to be uncomfortable with this suggestion, and when ten Hag was sacked at the end of October, it was stressed that Van Nistelrooy would only be in temporary charge. Sir Jim Ratcliffe and company moved quickly to appoint Ruben Amorim as ten Hag's successor, but could only agree for him to start work on November 1 dot. This meant Van Nistelrooy managed United for 4 matches, in which time he recorded 3 victories and a draw. While he was keen to stay at Old Trafford, his exit was confirmed on Monday as Amorim appointed his own backroom staff at the club. He would bow out on a high thanks to a 3-0 victory over Leicester City in the Premier League. Garnacho scored the pick of the goals in the win and took to social media on Monday night to pay tribute to Van Nistelrooy. Sharing a picture of themselves on the touchline, Garnacho wrote to Van Nistelrooy, "It was a short time, but it was special. I learned a lot from you and I will keep it to myself for the rest of my career. But what I will remember the most is how you are as a person. We will meet again, legend." Van Nistelrooy's next career move shall be an interesting one, considering the experience under his belt. He has previously been the head coach at PSV Eindhoven and was being tipped for the vacant Burnley job before deciding to return to Old Trafford as an assistant. Sporting Lisbon striker Victor Gyökeres has thanked Ruben Amorim after the Portuguese head coach officially joined Manchester United on Monday. The Swede was bought by Amorim in July 2023 for £20 million from Championship side Coventry City. This piece of business has proven to be impressive, with Gyökeres becoming a talisman for the Portuguese club. In just 68 appearances, the 26-year-old has bagged 66 goals, which includes last week's hat-trick against Manchester City in the Champions League. Such form has grown speculation regarding Amorim's plans to potentially reunite with the striker. In the Premier League, Gyökeres has notably been a target for Arsenal as recently as the summer transfer window. However, they did not move for the centre-forward as they chose to prioritise other positions. Instead, Amorim has already rejected the possibility of signing any Sporting players in the January transfer window, so any move would likely come next summer at the earliest. As for Gyökeres, he has kept tight-lipped about his future, insisting his focus is on the Lisbon club. However, the striker did not miss the opportunity to wish Amorim well as the 39-year-old begins his new chapter in the Premier League. Taking to Instagram, Gyökeres shared 3 photos with his old boss with the caption, "Thank you for everything, Master." Amorim's first day at Carrington was one of major changes, as he wasted no time laying the groundwork for his tenure. Ruud van Nistelrooy was among the notable departures from the coaching staff, with the Portuguese appearing to appoint 5 coaches to his team: Carlos Fernandes, Adelio Candido, Paulo Barreira, Emmanuel Ferro and Jorge Vital. It is unusual for a new head coach or manager to inherit a team that has won 3 of its last 4 matches when walking into a new job mid-season. However, that is exactly the scenario Ruben Amorim will be walking into when he starts work at Manchester United this week. The 39-year-old arrived in England on Monday afternoon, less than 24 hours after taking charge of Sporting Lisbon for the final time, accompanied by 5 members of his coaching team. Amorim is now waiting for a work permit to come through before officially rolling up his sleeves at Carrington. Arriving at United at the start of an international break means it will not be until deep into next week that he gets to assess his whole squad up close and personal for the first time. By that juncture, he will be putting the finishing touches to his preparations for his first game in charge. Amorim quote, "S first assignment as United manager will be a long trip to Portman Road to face Ipswich Town." All of the pre-match focus will be on how Amorim could unleash his new team for the first time. The 39-year-old is expected to immediately install the 3-4-3 formation that he enjoyed so much success with at Sporting. As fresh and as exciting as that prospect is, such is the way United's play stagnated in the latter stages of Erik ten Hag's tenure. It does create questions about what the team will look like. A lot of debate is already surrounding who could start in midfield and in. But if Ruud van Nistelrooy's final 2 games in interim charge had any impact at all on Amorim's planning for his first game at the helm, Ahmad should be the very first name on the team sheet at Portman Road. After marking his first start in more than a month with a well-taken brace against PAOK in the Europa League last Thursday night, he followed that up with a brilliant assist in Sunday's 3-0 win over Leicester City. He now has 5 direct goal contributions, 3 goals and 2 assists to his name this season. Harshly overlooked in the latter stages of Ten Hag's tenure, losing his place in the X1 after starting the season strongly, Ahmad performed with the mindset of a point to prove against both PAOK and Leicester, impacting proceedings positively. As has been well documented in recent months, Ahmad has come on in leaps and bounds in a very short space of time, establishing himself as one of United's best attackers. His first thought when he receives the ball is to drive forward and make something happen, whether it be by shooting or providing a pass. His second goal against PAOK was typical of the Ivorian, who loves to cut inside on his stronger left foot. His assist for Bruno Fernandes' opener against Leicester was as equally impressive, with the former Sunderland loanee demonstrating fantastic awareness to find the United captain with a back heel. Having been bright after stepping off the substitutes bench in Van Nistelrooy's first 2 games in interim charge, he was worthy of the start he earned against PAOK, with his 2 goals against the Greek outfit, making it impossible for the Dutchman to then relegate him back to the bench for the visit of Leicester. Van Nistelrooy said the winger is motivated to get the most from his career after his brace last week. As a United winger, there is an expectation to create and score goals. There is also a clamour and demand to entertain. Ahmad is capable of conducting both tasks, meaning it is hardly surprising so many United fans have been eager for him to start in recent weeks. It beggars belief that Ten Hag overlooked him so often towards the end of his tenure. As a hard-working, creative and goal-scoring operator, Ahmad should be a player Amorim dreams of taking to the next level. United supporters have fallen in love with the Ivorian, and he should be given the licence to try and reach the next level under the new head coach.